Before Dracula became a creature of myth, there was a man whose barbaric reign inspired terror across Europe, a ruler whose name would become synonymous with cruelty and impalement, Vlad the Impaler. He was a real historical figure, a prince who ruled with an iron fist. In this video, you will see the life, reign, and brutal methods of Vlad III, and uncover how he became the dark legend we know today as Dracula. Historical context and early life. Much of who would become Vlad the Impaler can be understood in the historical context of the 15th century Eastern Europe, beset by political upheaval and under continuous threat from the expanding Ottoman Empire. During the mid-1400s, Wallachia had been squeezed between powerful forces. To the west lay the Kingdom of Hungary, the bastion of Christianity opposing the Ottomans' advance. To the south and east lurked the Ottoman Empire, whose influence grew bigger with every passing year. It shared its border with other vulnerable principalities situated in Moldavia and Transylvania, forming a buffer zone that was quite unreliable between two immense powers at that time. Of course, it was Wallachia itself that represented the most glaring of contrasts. On one hand, having very productive plains and valleys that could sustain a majorly rural population of peasants and farmers, and on the other, being home to many fortified towns and boyar strongholds where nobles competed ceaselessly for power and influence. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire was undertaking its most aggressive expansion under Sultans Murad II and Mehmed II. Already conquering huge amounts of the Balkans, the Ottomans had started focusing on Central Europe. Wallachia occupied a special place in this expansionist plan due to its strategic location along the Danube River. The House of Draculesti, to which Vlad belonged, was one of the major boyar houses of Wallachia. His father, Vlad II Dracul, had received the sobriquet Dracul for his induction into the Order of the Dragon, a Christian military order misdially directed against the Ottoman Turks. The young Vlad was born in 1431 in the Transylvanian city of Sighisoara. He was then a child destined to be trained by the nobles of Wallachia in the arts of warfare, languages, and governance. His childhood, however, was anything but exemplary. In 1442, at age 11, Vlad and his little brother Radu were sent as hostages to the Ottoman court. At that time, it was quite unusual to ensure vassal states' loyalty. For young Vlad, it was the beginning of a harrowing experience that shaped his future reign. Being a hostage in the Ottoman court did not make life rosy. On one hand, Vlad received noble education, Turkish, Quran, and the state of the Ottoman army and administration. But on the other hand, he was at the capricious mercies of his captors, humiliated, under constant threat of execution should his father step out of line. The political scene in Wallachia was yet unclear during Vlad's captivity. Vlad II Dracul was attempting to balance his responsibilities with the Ottomans and his Christian duties to Hungary. This precarious situation led Vlad II to be murdered in 1447 by Wallachian boyars, alongside Vlad's older brother Mircea. These events changed young Vlad's life forever. Released from Ottoman captivity at age 17, he began his quest to claim the Wallachian throne. The experiences of his youth, the betrayal of his father, the loss of his brother, and humiliation in years of Ottoman captivity fueled his ambition and shaped the cruel tactics he would later use as Wallachia's ruler. Rise to power and ruling methods. The rise of Vlad to power was not an easy struggle, but rather a series of fleeting victories and exiles. In 1448, he briefly claimed the Wallachian throne with Ottoman support, which marked his first reign. However, this first regime lasted only 2 months before he was ousted by forces loyal to his opponent, Vladislav II. Exiled, Vlad would spend some years in Moldavia under the protection of his uncle Bogdan II, and later in Hungary under the aegis of John Hunyadi. During this time, Vlad started to build up his military prowess and establish some very important contacts that would secure his future return to power. In 1456, Vlad finally had his chance, allied with the Hungarians, invading Wallachia and retaking his throne. The second reign, from 1456 to 1462, would be the time that cemented Vlad's reputation and earned him the moniker Tepes, or the Impaler. From the moment he ascended to the throne, Vlad did not waste any time in consolidating his power. A whole sea of trouble surrounded him. Boyars who had championed his rival claimants, endless threats of Ottoman invasion, and establishing his authority over a fractious people. The approach to government that Vlad used was that of extreme, ruthless methods to ensure acute fear in all people and absolute obedience. Of all the heinous acts he perpetrated against people, the impaling of many victims was foremost. Impalement, a grim method of execution wherein victims were skewered on long stakes and left to die, became Vlad's signature punishment. There are historical accounts of forests of impaled victims, sometimes numbering in the thousands, that were erected to terrify enemies and would-be transgressors, though the numbers involved are often exaggerated. The tactic served several purposes. It was a form of psychological warfare, meant to break the morale of invading Ottoman forces. It also acted as a deterrent against crime and dissent within Wallachia. Vlad was reported to have used impalement against all manner of perceived enemies: Ottoman prisoners of war, Saxon merchants who defied his economic regulations, rival boyars, even common thieves. Military campaigns, and end of an era. In 1459, Vlad initiated a number of raids across the Danube into Ottoman territory. The attacks were brutal, swift, and designed to weaken Ottoman control in the region and show Wallachian independence. In these raids, Vlad's forces would burn villages, kill thousands of people, and take prisoners, all clear examples of his military acumen and ruthlessness. One of Vlad's important successes was in 1461, when he managed to repel a large Ottoman invasion. As recorded in one letter to the Hungarian king, Matthias Corvinus, Vlad claimed to have killed 23,884 Turks. This number is no doubt exaggerated, but it gives an idea of the scale. These successes drew full attention to Vlad from the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II, who began arranging a great invasion. The conflict that Vlad ultimately had with the Ottomans was in 1462, when Sultan Mehmed II led an invasion into Wallachia. That Ottoman army is believed to have numbered more than 100,000 men, one of the largest forces in the history of the world up until that time. Lacking the ability to field such a force in open battle, Vlad fell back upon hit-and-run tactics and psychological warfare. As the Ottoman army advanced, Vlad adopted a scorched earth policy. He personally destroyed everything he thought might have been useful to the invader, poisoning the wells and burning the crops and villages to evacuate them, leaving but a sterile land ahead for the Ottomans to pass through. One of the boldest and most infamous episodes of this campaign was the night attack at Targoviste. On the night of June 16 to 17, 1462, Vlad led a small force in a surprise attack against the Ottoman camp. Dressed as Turks, Vlad and his men entered the camp, killed indiscriminately, and then created general confusion. All of this was in hopes of killing Sultan Mehmed II, but he narrowly escaped the attempt on his life. The reign of Vlad did not end due to direct Ottoman intervention, but instead because of political machinations and treachery. Feeling the pressure of the approaching Ottoman invasion, Vlad requested the assistance of Matthias Corvinus of Hungary. Instead of receiving that help, he was arrested by Corvinus at the end of 1462 and put in prison. The reasons behind this treachery are not simple. Some historians argue that forged letters, allegedly from Vlad and indicating his willingness to switch to the side of the Ottomans, swayed Corvinus. Others suggest that Corvinus took his opportunity to remove a potentially awkward vassal while at the same time ingratiating himself with the Ottomans. The next 12 years Vlad spent as a captive, first in Hungary, then in Visegrad. His handsome brother Radu now ruled Wallachia and was more willing to bend to Ottoman influence. In 1475, Vlad was released and returned to the Wallachian throne with Hungarian support. This final reign did not last long. In December 1476 or January 1477, Vlad was killed in battle against Ottoman forces near Bucharest. How he met his death is unclear. Some accounts relate that he was assassinated by disgraced Wallachian boyars. Interested? Then give us a like and do not forget to subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.